What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another live stream. Sunday, just gone 9 o'clock. Slightly late, but not too bad. How are we all doing? As always, I've just realised there's a problem with not turning my light on, but it looks okay on the green screen, so I'm not going to worry. I've still got the shiny bald head, so that's good. How are we all? Another rubbish game week for me, I would say. 56 with a 4-point hit leaves me on 52 points total. 887k rank, which is awful, but it is a green arrow. About 6,000 places, which at this rank is just hilarious, to be honest. I've hit the wildcard button. Now, that was under the influence slightly, although I had thought about it earlier in the day before I'd even touched the beer, so the thought had already been planted. I think... yeah, we'll talk about it in a minute. Whether or not it was a mistake or not, I mean, everyone was telling me to wildcard last week. I know everyone's going to tell me it's a mistake this week. I think there's pros and cons to doing it. I'm now going to have to take a different approach, I think, to bench boost and stuff. But I'm not too bothered about that. There's only 13 weeks left, and I don't really have much time to turn this around. And to be honest, when you're this ranked, there's no way I'm getting top 10k anyway. So I figure I might as well just go for it and hope to get something. And if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. No great loss to an already kind of awful season. So it's not like kind of throwing in the towel, but just trying something different, to be honest. Let me turn the volume up. Stupid mic. Okay, hopefully that's a little bit better to hear. Hopefully the volume's a bit higher now. Going to go through that in a minute. Before we jump into that, I did want to say the stream has been sponsored once again by OneFootball. If you have not already checked it out, plenty of football games to come for the rest of the season. So you need a football app like this, completely free, Android, iOS stores. Click the link in the description below or just search OneFootball on the Android or iOS stores, like I said. Lineup news, team news, football news, and just general kind of tables and all that kind of stuff. You need all the stats you want, plus live scores as well on the weekend or during midweek if there's a midweek game. So check it out if you haven't already. And yeah, link in the description below, or just search OneFootball, Android, iOS stores. So this is how my team did this week. So the auto subs haven't come in yet. So I actually might have the score. I think it's actually 57 because Morpay is going to be transferred to Soy and Shoes. It's actually 57 minus 4, which is still awful. There's no polls tonight. I don't want to go into too much detail as to why, but basically there's two ways to stream on YouTube. There's two ways to set up a stream. And basically the old way, I can do polls, but the new way is what we're all going to get forced to use soon. And so I'm going to have to use it anyway, so I'm getting used to using that. And at the moment, for whatever reason, you cannot use polls with it. So that is why there aren't any. I might go back to the old way, but I'm going to get forced to use this new way pretty soon, I would say. So I don't want to stick to the old way, basically. And it lets me schedule the stream as well properly if I use this way. So that's why there's no polls. I apologise. We'll probably use them on Thursday because I know people miss them. And the other thing to say is I finally figured out podcasts after on the last stream saying... that actually it was very easy to set up a podcast, like to upload a podcast and get it out is easy. Setting it up, not as easy as I thought, but I think I figured it all out. So some of you are probably going to be listening to this on podcast. I'm not going to really change things for this to make it work better for a podcast. I know some people just prefer to listen rather than watch, which is fair enough. So I'm kind of doing it as a secondary thing, but yeah, so that's the thing. Also, like one last thing as well. I know people have been telling me to buy a pop filter. I've ordered one, so we'll see how it works when I have it. It's been dispatched, so hopefully I'll have it next week sometime, and then we can see if that stops popping, pop when I use the mic. So yeah, that's a load of like admin stuff out of the way. So yeah, I bought Fernandes in for a hit. So I ended up keeping Vardy because we knew he was going to start because we had those. We had that team news early on in the day, or before the deadline. So what was the transfer? Oh yeah, I made Mane to Salah transfer, of course. I had to do that because I just wanted Salah captain. And obviously, Southampton, I haven't been able to watch a huge amount of football this weekend, but I did watch that Liverpool-Southampton game. And I was pretty impressed with Southampton, to be honest, especially in the first half. I thought they were a bit unlucky not to get something. I think if a few more chances had fallen to Ings, potentially it would have helped. I mean, he was You know, he had a few decent chances himself which didn't convert, but if he'd had a few of the other chances, maybe they would have gone in. But we would have lost a double Liverpool clean sheet, so I'm not too worried that Ings didn't score. But obviously Salah came through, lovely finish for one of the goals, and he just looks on it right now. So I'm happy, obviously, to own Salah. And then I was kind of itching to make another transfer. I was going to do Vardy to Aubameyang, but once I knew Vardy was going to start, I thought, why not get Fernandes in? It's a bit of a punt for a Man United player. Obviously, there's a bit of a bias there. I'm not even denying that's why I bought him in. But his differential, thought it'd be quite exciting. Obviously, Wolves defended very well, Bolly back as well. So Fernandes did have a few shots. I think he had the most shots in the match, but a lot of them were from outside the box. So there weren't any really great chances. And to be honest, because Pereira was playing in the kind of pivot with Fred, he got a yellow card early on, mostly because he's awful and just made a stupid decision. And so once that happened, pretty much, Fernandes got put back into like a really deep role. And, you know, from an FPL, like watching him from a Man United point of view was fine, I thought, because he was trying to kind of like order people around, dictate how everyone else is playing, etc. But in terms of an FPL point of view, as soon as we attacked, he was staying deep. He wasn't getting anywhere near the box, so wasn't good. Wasn't good from an FPL point of view. Whether or not it'll be good going forward, who knows? I mean, Man United got difficult fixtures. The thing is now we've got a 2-week break for some teams. So the deadline is in a week on Saturday. I think it's Saturday anyway. Let me just double check. Yeah, I don't think it's Friday deadline. Yeah, Saturday deadline, 12:30, Everton versus Palace. So there is a deadline in a week, but some teams aren't playing until the second half. So I've got it up on screen now. Like Man United aren't playing until the 17th of February. So by then, Matic could be back. I know, is Matic suspended? I can't remember how long Matic's suspended for. Let me have a quick look. It's the problem with doing everything live. Matic, yeah, he's back, so he's not suspended anymore. I think it was just one game, wasn't it? So Matic will be back. Maybe Pogba and McTominay. I don't know what their kind of injury deadline is at the moment, but once they're back, you'd imagine Fernandes will play further forward. So it could be a good option. The only thing is, obviously, I've bought him in for a hit, and I'm probably not going to have him on Wildcard, to be completely honest. Which kind of goes to show what kind of a kind of risk or a punt it was for this game week. So yeah, this week not good. Salah was kind of the only shining light. In fact, Liverpool were the only players that returned for me this week. 32 for Salah, 6 for Trent, 6 for Robertson, and everyone else blanked. Ings, Vardy, Maupay didn't play. Grealish. Now, to be fair, Grealish probably should have got points. He's probably a little bit unlucky. De Bruyne did nothing tonight. Lundstram came on for a point, so Lundstram's no good anymore. Then Donker's lost his place as well. Kelly's lost his place. Leicester just not keeping clean sheets, and they got Wolves and Man City next. So realistically, the first 11 of my team probably actually not that bad. And I could have fixed this with a hit probably. I couldn't have done like Maupay to Jimenez, which was probably what I would have wanted to do. But I did have 5 million for Lundstram, so I could have gone straight to a different Sheffield United defender. But I decided to wildcard, and I'm going to show you the team. There's a few players in there that probably aren't going to be in there when I come to actually when it comes to the deadline. So this is how it's looking currently. So Henderson in goal, still triple Liverpool, Trent, Robertson, Salah, of course. I'm not probably going to go to double Liverpool attack. Ings and Jimenez is back in. I think dropping Jimenez was a mistake. I think dropping Traore was a mistake as well. I think he's been looking so good, and he is an enabler, like I said, when I got rid of him, which I shouldn't have done. I've still got De Bruyne, but I am probably going to get rid of him. And the reason for that is just basically because I feel like I've got to do something. Like, my team is still fairly temperate. I have to have 3 Liverpool players. I can't go in to the next game week without 3 Liverpool given their fixtures. Same with Ings, and I've still got McCarthy. Now, obviously, I'm kind of setting myself up a bit for bench boost, which is why I've got 2 goalkeepers. And obviously, Jimenez is back, and I've got Bolly in as well because he's back as well for Wolves. Now, I'm probably not going to play him this week because I'm going to probably have a Sheffield United defender as my third. third attacker. But De Bruyne, right? So let me. I'm not even trying to justify it because I know everyone's going to think he's essential. Everyone's going to tell me it's a mistake to get rid of him, and that's fine. I'm not even going to really try and sit here and disagree with you too much. West Ham at home is a worry. I don't want to. I'm not going to beat around the bush. Not having him for West Ham is tough, and I'm not sure I'd want to watch that game with no Man City players. Whether or not I'll definitely have no Man City players, we'll talk about in a minute. So yeah, West Ham at home, going to be difficult. After that, it's Leicester away. I don't know if Man City are going to absolutely smash Leicester. I know they did really well in the reverse fixture. This is away. Then it's a blank. Then it's Man United away. And again, we can sit here and argue about how good Man United are, how bad they are. They don't tend to concede too many goals. They've actually done all right against Man City this season twice now. They did lose the first Carabao Cup game, but they won the second. And also did okay against them in the league as well. Burnley at home, okay, another okay fixture there as well. Chelsea away doesn't matter. It's free hit 31, which I'm probably still going to use. Then it's Liverpool, which is a tough game. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fixtures. And I'm really just worried about 2 of them, West Ham and Burnley at home. And I'm just thinking I can go for Son instead, who's got Villa away this week anyway. Doesn't blank. And the fixtures aren't incredible, but it's just something a bit different than having Kevin De Bruyne. Yes, I know his ownership's 53.3%. He can punish me as soon as he gets a haul. If the player I've got instead doesn't do well, I'm going to slip down the ranks. But I'm so used to that at this point. Like at 887k, what have I really got to lose? If I finish outside the top million at this point, whatever. I'm hoping it doesn't come to that. But that's why I'm looking at getting rid of De Bruyne. I just think maybe this is a good time to potentially take a risk to get rid. I can always get him back later. It's not the case that I can never get him back in. And I got him for 10.1 million. So he's 10.7 now. So I've gained 0.3 million on him. So I could get him back in if I have to. As for Vardy, that's an interesting one as well. I don't think I'm going to have him. I actually made a little bit of a mistake last night. So I saw that Vardy was going to drop, but because I had because of the price rises I'd had, it didn't affect me, so I kept him. And I checked FPL statistics, and Aubameyang was nowhere near. From what I remember, Aubameyang was nowhere near rising, and he rose. So Aubameyang is one that I want, or potentially want. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to go Vardy to Aubameyang, De Bruyne to Son, and then potentially just leave it at that. The kind of considerations from the team, like you can see now, is I've got Fleck as like as an 8th attacker, which is good because I can play him the next 2 weeks and not have to play Barnes, and have Barnes for Harvey Barnes, that is, for their good fixtures from game week 28 onwards. But it also means I'm spending 0.7 million over someone like Hayden just to kind of have a player who I can rotate with the next 2 weeks and bench boost with, and then longer term I'm not really worried about him. So I'm kind of thinking about getting Hayden in and just saving the money and having that as a kind of a safety net further on. And then the other thing is, do I go for Henderson and double Sheffield United defence? Bearing in mind, obviously, they're going to blank in 28. Henderson can't play in game week 31 as well because of the Man United game, although, again, that doesn't necessarily matter if I'm going to bench free hit in that week. So Dubravka's an option there as well. So, yeah, there's a few different options right now about where I could go with this team. It's like a lot of the changes are probably peripheral, but I think once I get Aubameyang and Son in, that's enough of a few differentials. Jimenez and Traore back in. I think I made mistakes getting rid of them a while back. Like Mopé was just never a good option, it turns out. Aubameyang was at 14%, so no way you could know he was rising. Yeah, I saw that he maybe on Fix he was looking at going up. So I use statistics all the time, so I don't know what happened there. You're sceptical of Aubameyang because he plays as a winger. Yeah, so I did a bit of research on that before. I don't have the numbers to hand, and it is a smaller sample size. He has played as a centre forward way more than he's played on the wing this season, but his goal record on the wing is pretty good. Like I said, I don't have the numbers to hand, but if you go to transfermarket.ie, you can see what positions he's played and when he scored, and he's got a higher percentage of goals on the wing than centre forward. Now, that doesn't take into account opposition, and obviously, like I said, it is a small sample size. But yeah, he's done okay. It would be nice if we could go back to centre forward, though. When and why bench boost? So I'll be honest with you, I'm trying to actually ignore bench boost to a certain extent. I think that most people are going to use it in game week 34 and 37 because that's when the big double game weeks are going to be. So people are going to wildcard set up for them and bench boost, and that's absolutely fine. I'm probably not going to save it till then because if I save it till game week 37, I'm basically relying on 12 game weeks time. This team, because bearing in mind it's only issue players. Obviously, you should bench players that are going to bench boost because that's the clue is in the name. So it's the cheaper options. Then I'd have to hope that my cheap bench options now are still good in 12 weeks time. So I'm probably just going to use it soon, and basically use it in game week 27 or 29. I think when I was looking earlier, 29 is better for me, basically because Harvey Barnes has good fixtures from then. Whereas if I bench boost in 27, I'm having to play Barnes against Man City, which might not be ideal. So Flex on 7 yellow cards. So I don't think he is one away from a ban. Whoever said that. No, Man United currently. So I mean, at the end of the day, Man United's fixtures aren't great. The reason I did it is because I was able to get him in for Madison Fernandez. That is. I think on a wild card, I probably will just wait for the fixtures to turn. Hopefully, see what kind of position he's playing in when everyone's fit, and then go from there. No polls tonight. I'm sorry. Triple Sheffield United defence. Yeah, I mean, the only thing with going triple Sheffield United defence is I have to get rid of one of the Liverpool defenders. Now, I could go Firmino or Mane. I don't think I really want Firmino still. I just feel like the defender's a better value. And I might actually go Van Dijk instead of Robertson. Just to save a bit of money. And like points per game for this season, they're pretty close anyway. I know Robertson's probably got a bigger hole in him, and at some point that will probably come through. But just have to hope that it averages out along the way. Harry Maguire to return, maybe when the fixtures get good. I think people need to talk about Firmino more. I mean, he looks great. Like, don't get me wrong. Maybe I should talk about him more, but yeah. I mean, the one thing about going with someone like Firmino, right? So let's say I put him in now ahead of Vardy. I don't get Aubameyang either, because obviously we already know that Liverpool's fixtures are good. So I could get rid of Robertson. So the one thing is, obviously, he's a cheaper price than Aubameyang and a cheaper price than Vardy, or at least a similar price, I think, that I can sell Vardy for. So it lets me get that third Liverpool player in. And I could potentially go even cheaper in defence and then spend money for forwards. So that is an option. But we'll have to just wait and see whether I decide to do that, to be honest. I don't think I'm going to go triple defence, though, for Sheffield United. Because I've got to think about longer term as well as the shorter term. You go for Firmino over Aubameyang. He could be an option, yeah. I just think the clean sheets are still going to be coming for Liverpool. Gomez, yeah, I could go Gomez. Gomez has got like 0 goal threat though, and to be fair, maybe that's fair enough because for 5.3 million, perhaps you shouldn't expect that. It's for Liverpool anyway. But it just, I don't know. It just feels quite boring to have a Liverpool player who probably isn't going to get bonus points because Trent and Robertson are so good for them anyway when it comes to defenders. And who has 0, like he's had like no shots in the box over the last few game weeks. So yeah, I'm not too kind of happy to get Gomez, to be completely honest. I'd rather go Firmino, I think, than go for Gomez. Or the other option, of course, is to go 3-5-2. That is another option. Stevens to Egan frees up 0.5. Yeah, I've already looked at maybe shifting to a 4.6 million Sheffield United defender. Obviously, you still cover the clean sheet. I don't think they've got as much goal threat though, or attacking threat in general. Matip and yeah, I don't think. I mean, I got to be honest. The thought of Gomez losing his place is not why I don't want him, to be honest. I don't think there's too much chance at the moment. There might be when they've like got the league wrapped up. We already know they've got the league wrapped up. I don't think that's in doubt at this point. But obviously they're not gonna, until they have it won mathematically. they're going to just keep going, aren't they? 3-5-2 is not as good for the bench boost, yeah, because you basically get Martinelli and hoping he plays. So Traore went off with an injury, but I'm pretty sure Nuno said that he would probably be fine. Someone tell me if that's not the case. "22 points above City. Klopp will rotate against Norwich." Look, he might do. And I don't know. I can only speculate. But winning the Champions League game again would be great for Liverpool. Obviously, back-to-back Champions League is pretty special. But they're surely going to do nothing, absolutely nothing, that might jeopardise the league in any way. And if that means playing a full-strength side against Norwich, who they'll probably beat even without a full strength, they're going to do it, surely. Get that league wrapped up early. They only need, another 7 wins, I think? Maybe even 6 now that City have lost. I'm not exactly sure on that, but it was only 8 before today, or before this weekend. They won. I think it was 8. So they're not far off anyway. So once they get that league wrapped up, then they can rotate as much as they want. I do think, and again, I don't know for sure, maybe Klopp will have other thoughts. Obviously, there's other records to be broken once they win the league, but surely at that point you just ditch it. Don't worry about the records and go for the Champions League. I mean, back-to-back Champions League and a league and Champions League double will be massive. They will want to go undefeated. I'm not saying they're going to just, lay down tools and just give up. But you might see some more rotation once the league has been won, you think, right? People here don't watch Norwich. They're a decent side. If Liverpool rest players, they'll get punished. To a certain extent, I don't think anyone thinks they're going to completely rest every single player. But you might see Origi come in for Firmino, or Origi play instead of Mane, whoever it might be. Oxlade, Chamberlain on the wing, or in those wider positions. Just not sure. Firmino doesn't even get bonus points with 3 assists for Liverpool. So Firmino's actually usually quite good for bonus points, I think. I don't know how many he's got this season, but usually he's decent enough. Yeah, he's got 18, so he's not bad for him. The thing is, that Liverpool game, Salah scored twice, so assists are nowhere near as good for, because Firmino's listed as a striker, so assists are nowhere near as good as, if he'd scored a goal and got 2 assists, I bet he would have been much closer to the bonus points. Henderson, I mean, he scored and assisted as well, so he only got 1 less attack in return than Firmino. Alisson is the weird one. He did make 4 saves, I guess, and he does pass a lot, but yeah, Alisson getting bonus points ahead of Firmino, probably not cool. Will be painful as a United fan if they repeat the 1999 treble. I don't know if it's painful. It's been done already, hasn't it? So, I mean, at the end of the day, Liverpool are a great side. There's not much you can do about it. There's no point worrying about it. They're a great side. Hopefully it doesn't last too long. Once Van Dijk goes to Juventus, then we'll worry about it then. No, am I not saving the wildcard for the blank game week? No, for the blank game week, I'm going to use free hit. What do I think of Martinelli at 4.6? I mean, we talked about this just a minute ago. When it comes to strikers, he is really the only option, really cheap, in kind of the really cheap seats. But whether he keeps his place is anyone's guess. Arsenal not doing fantastically well at the moment. So we'll have to wait and see. I think most Arsenal fans would be happy for him to keep starting, though. I wouldn't want to have him in as a starter. I'd want him as a cheap option. If you're wildcarding, though, as Physio said earlier, probably does hurt the bench boost a bit because you can't necessarily rely on him, which is a bit of a worry. Aren't there usually 2 blank game weeks? I don't think there's going to be any more blank game weeks other than game week 31. Obviously, we had the one for Liverpool and West Ham already. Double game week should be game week 34 and 37. Usually you have the option to watch it in 1080p. Any reason why I can't? Yeah, I think I changed it to 720. Thing is, if you stream it at 1080, it usually takes up more bandwidth, basically. You had a good team before transferring Fernandes. Yeah, look, potentially. But at this point, I think I just have to go for it. So the team's going to end up being something like this. I'm going to get Son. Obviously, Bergwijn, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I haven't seen that game. So if Son, Mora and he started, that's quite interesting. I don't know what position he played in. I only played 69 minutes. I Lucas Moura played 83. So I don't know, whoever watched that match, what position did he play in? I guess they haven't got Kane, have they? So I'd say one of them played as a forward, and the other two played on the wings. Anyone on mobile and audio keeps cutting out? Hopefully not. Doesn't seem to be any issues from my end that I can see. I don't know. Very much I can change from my my side anyway. Right wing, yeah, fair enough. Small blank game week 28. And another one for the oh yeah, obviously, yeah, we've got 28 blanks as well. Yeah, that's true. We might see another one in game week 35 potentially. I'm not sure. But yeah, Ben Credden's all up to date on that. He came off with cramp on 69 minutes. Damn. Brandon Williams dropped as a one-off, or Shaw got his place back. I just don't think you can say either way there, to be honest. One thing I will say is Luke Shaw played pretty well against Wolves. I was quite impressed, to be honest. I mean, at this point with this Man United team, it's almost like you do anything well and it's kind of, oh, finally they've done something okay, because they're just so bad. Even like an okay performance seems good. But yeah, I thought Luke Shaw played pretty well, to be honest. So I don't know. Brandon Williams might come back in, but I think ultimately we just can't say for sure. So if you're relying on him to be able to play, yeah, I probably wouldn't be getting it, to be honest. Got to have a City attack for West Ham at home. Surely Captain Aguero will be a differential. So here's the thing that puts me off Aguero. Obviously, if you go for Aguero, that's fine. Like, I can probably make, like, if I put Aguero in now and do a bit of tinkering, so I could put him in 5.7 million for, I could get Gomez, but 5.7 million for another defender, and that's my team sorted. Gomez would be the only way I could get double Liverpool. Obviously, I could drop Son. I don't know. There's ways around it, which I'm not going to go into too much now. It would be nice to captain him, but there's two things that kind of, not that put me off, but two reasons why I'm not too worried, maybe a little bit worried, but not too worried, is one, I'm perfectly okay with Salah against Norwich. I think that's just as good almost as good as the side as Norwich are. I still think that's a great fixture for Salah against Norwich. And so I don't necessarily need to captain Aguero. Obviously, longer term, he's got a blank in game week 28, plays Leicester the week after. He's also 12 million. So if I want to redistribute that cash, that's two transfers straight away, or it's a lot of cash in the bank. So I could do Aguero down to Firmino, Aguero down to Aubameyang, Aguero down to Vardy, whatever it might be. Then what am I doing with the rest of that money? So I know, the thought going through my head is, you've wildcarded, you want to do something different, and you're not going for Aguero against West Ham. The main reason is really, what do I do with that money? That's what would frustrate me, I think. If Aguero was like 8 or 9 million, well, we'd probably all own him. But if he was 8 or 9 million, I'd get him, because then I could probably switch him up to somewhere else. But I'm just going to go for it. No City. Look, if I get massively punished, I get massively punished. But I got to try something different. So a few people saying the sound is freezing and cutting out. Not everyone is saying it, so I'm hoping it's not the same for everyone. There's not much I can do about it if it is happening. Like I can't really change much, to be honest. Maybe it's just the internet having a bad day. The weather is pretty bad here, so it could be that. So I apologise if it's bad. Probably be okay for the podcast because it's recording locally, funnily enough. Not that I want you all to go and listen to the podcast. Keep watching the videos, you know. Give the video a like if you haven't already, by the way. Subscribe if you're new around here as well. No polls today, but maybe next time. It's cutting out. Yeah, there's not really much I can do, so I can only apologise. If it's no good, maybe just don't watch and catch the podcast or something. Hope it when it processes after for YouTube, maybe it'll catch up. But yeah, it's probably the weather here. It's just not. It is not good at all. And like I said, there's nothing I can do about it. If it's the internet, it's the internet, right? It's not like a setting I can change. Jesus for the West Ham match. Yeah, but will he play? Like, it's the problem with Man City. I'm not going to captain Jesus either. So yeah, I'm not going to get Aguero. Norwich game is only 3 days before the Champions League, which will be the priority for Liverpool. City will be differential. Look, I know all these things. I know all these things about how KDB is essential. Aguero's a nice differential. I don't care. I'm just not going to go for it. Like, it'll be a worry. I'll hate watching that Man City game, but I'm not going to get Aguero and then have to redistribute the cash. And De Bruyne, okay, fair enough. De Bruyne will definitely probably do well against West Ham, but longer term, I'm just going to take a punt on Son, who has the Villa anyway. And it's not like Villa are defensively sound. I think Villa, Bournemouth, and West Ham are probably the ones to target from a kind of bad defence point of view at the moment. So I think there was one, like I was looking at captaincy like further on in the week. So, like I said, I'm not even going to overthink Salah against Norwich away. I'm pretty happy with that. And then game week 27, so you got Liverpool against West Ham. So straight away, I'm fine with Salah for that. I don't need Aguero captain against Leicester. And it's a Monday night game, last game of the week. Game week 28, so this is the one where we've got a few blanks. So Vardy against Norwich, potentially if he's back into some... Oh, you can't see it. Leicester against Norwich, if he's potentially back into some form. Otherwise, Salah against Watford. Or potentially Son against Wolves. Or, if we really want to target West Ham, Danny Ings against West Ham could be an option as well. And then game week 29, somewhere down the line, I've kind of got my eye on... Was it game week 30? No, I don't know. I thought I saw one where I might captain Son, but maybe not. Liverpool versus Bournemouth. So it's like literally Salah captain over and over again. And then worry about then. And if we're still targeting West Ham, game week 31, you got Son. But that could be a free hit week, so we'll have to see what's going on. And that's a few game weeks away, so I'm not worried about that just yet. But yeah, look, everyone can sit here and tell me how good Man City are. I know how good they are, but I don't think I'm going to go there, to be completely honest. But we'll see. Maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe I'll figure out a good way to get Aguero in. Like I could get Aguero in for 2 weeks. So go for West Ham, captain him, and then keep him for the Leicester game, hope he plays both, and then use 2 free transfers to switch him out and distribute the cash that way. So that's something I will consider. But otherwise, I'm just probably not going to do it. De Bruyne's effective ownership will be huge. I know all these things. Like you don't need to tell me. His ownership's huge. He'll probably be captain a bit. It's West Ham. He could have a field day. It could really hurt my rank, but like whatever. I'm 887k. What's the worst that can happen? I go to 900, 1 million. We'll see. Did you see what City's expected goals was against Spurs? Yeah, it was like 5.1 to 0.6. But that was the same for the reverse fixture as well, I think. Like it was like, I don't know. Basically, Spurs scored twice, but expected goals wise, they were nowhere near City. But that's what happens sometimes. Like I've seen like a few people saying that, you know, expected goals is just nonsense because of that, but it's not saying that expected goals predicts every single game. Like football has variances where it just doesn't happen sometimes. You just cannot get the ball in the net, even if you're creating the chances. But that's not really the point of expected goals. Worth captaining Mane to try and climb up the ranks. I mean, he's going to be a bit of a differential now. Not a massive one, I'd say. I mean, he's still got high ownership. 22.9%. So he has been shipped by quite a few players. So he's now must be more... Yeah, Salah's on 42.2. So a lot of people made the switch like me. So yeah, it could be a way to climb up the ranks. All right, let me get rid of this spam. Yeah, we don't know if Traore is injured yet. Barnes is interesting, but maybe a bit too early. You're right, but I could with this team at least, I could bench him for the next 2 weeks. Okay. Gonna be nice. Apologise, I've timed out the wrong person. But you'll be back soon. Does anyone really care about rank? Isn't it just about winning cash in your mini leagues? So I used to be like that. I mean, people will tell you, and they're right to a certain extent, that rank goes hand in hand with winning your mini leagues. If you've got a good rank, then you've got a good chance of winning your mini leagues. But especially towards the end of the season, you may go different in your mini leagues just to win that, even if it's not necessarily a great option for rank. But But yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't really play in many cash winning leagues, so it's all about overall rank for me. Problem with young players like Barnes is they're good for a few weeks, then go cold. Yeah, I mean, he's posting some good numbers, and they got good fixtures coming up, so he's a bit of a differential maybe. 5.9 million, not really a huge risk. Two could go reaching on from 500k to 130k. I mean, I might go from 887k to 1.3 million. You never know. Back to Pope. I have considered Pope. I wouldn't say the fixtures aren't great. If I bring them up here, they're okay. Southampton away, Bournemouth at home. I mean, Newcastle away, Spurs, City, Watford. I mean, it's not fantastic fixtures, but they're not awful either. And yes, I have actually considered Pope because one of the things with the wildcard is I'm trying not to have too much money spread out all over the place. And the thing with like Henderson and Dubravka is they're 5 million, whereas Pope's still 4.6. So it would let me spend less money up front. Less money in goal. Save me another 0.4 million. Potentially go for 2 Sheffield United defenders or something instead. Or just go for 1. And yeah, Wood would be an option if I was going for three cheapies up front. He's only 6.2. So I think Ings and Jimenez are kind of done and dusted. And then I have 4.5 million to spend on that. So you know who I could get? Kevin De Bruyne. So I could keep De Bruyne. This is another way I've looked at as well. So something like that. So basically 3-4-3 still, but 3 cheapies up front. And yeah, do it like that basically. Pope has smashed it since we all got rid of him, and it's frustrating. Stevens from Southampton's a nice enough option, yeah. Also Bertrand maybe. A bit more attacking potentially. I mean, either way I'm going to have McCarthy because he's only 4.3 million and I want two goalkeepers that are playing. I mean, I haven't looked at kind of the underlying stats and stuff from Burnley, so maybe Wood's not the best option, but I mean, usually his numbers are pretty good. I mean, everyone's going to prefer this wildcard because it's got De Bruyne, but that's not... I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, and again, there's ways to make this team cheaper. Henderson to Pope, Robertson to Van Dijk, Fleck to Hayden. There's a lot of money to potentially be had there. Like in fact, let me just do that now. Let me just take all this money out just so you can see what I would have left. Maybe I could fit Fernandez in there somewhere. So put Lascelles back in. Oh no, he's already in there. Wait, what am I doing? Hayden, sorry. Hayden, 4.3 million, the third best scoring midfielder for Newcastle. That's how bad they are. Van Dijk, bound to score some more goals. And then Pope, something like that. That gives me 1.6 million. I mean, I could go Stevens to Sheffield United defence like O'Connell or Egan. Like, even if you put in Egan, 4.5 million, that's 2.2 million to spend. So suddenly the money goes up a bit. So maybe De Bruyne to Mane. Then I'd have to get rid of a Liverpool defender. But anyway, there's options to get more money out of that team if I want to. Whether that team is massively better than the one I got now, we'll have to see. I know what you're thinking, but I think having 3 big hitters in midfielder who are proven works. Yeah, potentially. I mean, 3 cheap strikers could be the way forward. Who knows? I mean, Vardy's out of form a little bit, although fixtures coming up are pretty good. Aubameyang didn't score today, but had 3 big chances. Aguero's 12 million. So maybe it is time to go for 3 cheapies up front. Danny Rose is just too expensive for me. I just think Lascelles at 4.2 million is just too good to turn down at the moment. Like, you're paying another 1.1 million for Rose. Just not convinced by that. Yeah, O'Connell or Egan, like 4.5, 4.6 million is probably not the end of the world, but one of those cheaper defenders rather than going for like Stevens potentially. Everyone telling me Traore is injured. I'm pretty sure he's going to be fine, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah. You can afford Callum Wilson. I'm not going there. I wish Callum Wilson would become an option. Calvert-Lewin. I'm not really too interested in Calvert-Lewin, to be completely honest, because the fixtures for Everton are about to get really bad. Yeah, so there are other players that could be considered. So Hanley being pointed out, 4 million. Taylor at Burnley, he's cheap as well. The thing is, I'm trying to think of the bench boost as well, and Southampton and Sheffield United options are pretty good. So you'd probably want to bench boost. Like if I bench boost in 29, for example, so Barnes has Villa at home, Fleck would have Norwich, and so would the two Sheffield United defenders I would have too. Southampton have got Newcastle, so I think that's the reason to have kind of those players instead of like Hanley's and Burnley players as well. So Burnley would have, I can't remember exact fixtures they got, Spurs in 29, Bournemouth in 27. So potentially you could take it in 27. It obviously depends whether I have Harvey Barnes in the team to go with. Van Dijk for Trent as a differential. No way, Trent stays. There's no way I'm watching any more Liverpool matches not owning Trent Alexander-Arnold. Spurs, Tanganga. Yeah, there's so many cheap options right now. Will he play every single week? Didn't play against Norwich, but 1.6% owned, 4 million. Could be decent. But I don't want to like get to so many cheap options that I then get screwed if they don't keep playing. I mean, most of them will, like Lascelles, Taylor and stuff, but Tanganga, 4 million. I don't think he was he injured for that Norwich game? I don't think he was. Wolves have 5 clean sheets overall. What's thinking behind Bolly? Yeah, but Bolly's been injured for a while, hasn't he? Like, look how many games he missed. Comes back, clean sheet, clean sheet, clean sheet. Like, his percentage of clean sheets when he plays is actually pretty good. And also, it's not just for now. Like, Leicester, don't get me wrong, not great, and Spurs not great. But outside of that, they got some pretty sweet fixtures. So, and he's got goal for it as well. So 4.7 million. I like him. You could go Lascelles, Taylor, Tanganga, and have a super, super cheap backline. But I mean, Tanganga would be in instead of Lascelles. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to go double Liverpool defence. I mean, I could go Firmino. Something like this. Liverpool, Firmino. You could get this Tanganga fella in instead of Van Dijk. Then have another 1.3 to spend somewhere else. So, I don't know. Same size as the yellow card, man. I think... So, size is cheaper than Bolly, 4.4 million. But I just think Bolly is the absolute nailed-on defender. Obviously, the fact that he came in and Dendoncker missed out, you'd think that Sice now has that spot. But, you know, at some point they could... you know, he could maybe miss out and Dendoncker comes back in, but I just don't have that worry over Bolly, so he would be the one I would go for. I'd pay the 0.3 million, just go from there. Morpay has been so frustrating. I know once he missed that game, he has to go. The thing is, this is one thing I considered when I wildcarded, is I could have, like if I hadn't wildcarded, I'd be sat here now saying, well, yes, Morpay didn't play, but he's probably going to play in the next game, and even though it's Watford who have done well, it's a home match, and realistically I'm just not sure I would have believed that. So he had to go. Lundstrom's lost his place, Kelly's lost his place. That's why I've hit this button. Let's get some differentials in there and go for it. How much is Firmino even owned by now? 18.1. So he's, I mean, live teams is going to be quite high, I'd say. By the way, shout out to all the patrons. No segue tonight. Usually there's a good segue for this, but all the producers on screen, thanks very much for your continued support. If you want to check it out, jump into the Let's Talk FPL Slack channel. Click the link in the description below. The February league codes will be going out shortly, so unfortunately if anyone wants to sign up, it's too late for that, but obviously you'll get the one from March onwards, and you still get the Slack invite, whatever. And thanks very much to Jareth for signing up this week as well. So the Slack invite's gone out to you, and you, along with everyone else, will get your league codes probably tomorrow, Monday, or Tuesday this week, and I'll get them done. So if you want to sign up for that, check it all out. Link in the description below. I can't even say, yeah, we'll do the polls in a mix. It's not happening. Yes, the wildcard is popped. No news on Mane. Probably not going to get it. The thing to remember, by the way, as well. So I'm sure most of you know, but this game week is spread out over 2 weeks. So it's going to start this Saturday on the 8th, but it's not going to finish till the 17th. So we're basically going to have, 4 matches. 4 matches this week. Then we have to wait for the rest of the matches the following week, which is pretty frustrating. Not frustrating, like it's pretty. I guess it's frustrating from an FPL point of view. And what you got to bear in mind is any of these second half games, so anything from kind of Wolves, Leicester, Southampton, Burnley, Norwich, Liverpool, Villa, Spurs, Arsenal, Newcastle, Chelsea, and Man United, you're not going to get press conferences before the deadline. Their press conferences will be before the game. You might get some news from a journalist. Maybe Klopp will be interviewed after for something or other, and he'll get asked and he'll mention something. But you're not going to get a normal press conference. You're only going to get it for these first 4 games. So Everton versus Palace, Brighton, Watford, Sheffield United versus Bournemouth, City, West Ham. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. The good thing is, as someone just pointed out there, Sultan, that all the games look to be televised, which is decent from that point of view. But from an FPL point of view, and not getting press conferences is frustrating, especially when you're on a wild card. Maybe that's something I should have considered before I hit the button. But for example, Traore, will he be fit? I don't know. So I'm going to go for him, and then I might get halfway through the game week. I'm not. So this is what's going to hurt. Not hurt, but this is what's going to be a struggle. So I'm only going to have players potentially from Sheffield United, and that's it actually. So for the first 4 games, I think I'm only going to have players from Sheffield United. So only one of 8 teams. And so if Man City absolutely smash it, if De Bruyne goes nuts and Aguero goes nuts as well, that could be horrible. Waiting to another week to see how you do it. It's a bit like game week 24 when the first game was so bad and we had to wait those 6 long days for Liverpool to play their second game, which is a horrible way. It's going to be the same for this. So we'll see. Make your wildcard out of teams from the players from the first 4 matches. Yeah, absolutely smash it out the ranks and just quit there and then. Could be the way forward. Alright, I think I'm going to leave it there. There'll be the normal videos this week as well. So team selection, I'll talk. I guess it's just going to be wildcard talk. And then the preview on Wednesday. Another stream on Thursday. And then we'll crack on with this extra long double game week in game week 26. If you haven't already, make sure you hit subscribe on YouTube. And if you're listening on podcast, I guess you should subscribe to whatever podcast and stuff you're listening to this on. I got to be honest, I don't even know how it works yet. Hopefully it goes out to the main providers soon enough. And obviously, if you're watching the stream, make sure you like it on YouTube and all that good stuff. Check out OneFootball in the link in the description below, or search OneFootball on the Android iOS stores. And lastly, check out Patreon, also with a link in the description below. Fingers crossed the wildcard comes together. I'll give it a bit more tinkering before I do the team selection on Tuesday. And then, we will go from there. And now I will delay or try to stall as I figure out how I end the stream, which I can do now. Catch you later.